Today, we are stepping into a decision room, not a theory room, not a slide room, a pressure room. A telco has just completed a billing system upgrade. By Monday morning, customer complaints are exploding. Call center queues are overloaded. Angry screenshots are moving through WhatsApp groups, and senior leadership wants an answer fast. Everyone thinks they know what happened. And that is exactly why this case matters. Because the first explanation in the room is often the most dangerous one. This case is about a revenue crisis that looks obvious at first glance. It is not obvious. It only becomes clear when someone slows the room down enough to frame the problem properly. As you go through this case, I do not want you to ask, "What is the answer?" I want you to ask, what would a stronger thinker notice before the room locks on to the wrong story? Set the scene. It is 7:42 a.m. on a Monday. A mobile network operator has just gone live with a major billing system upgrade. The purpose was clean enough: unify prepaid bundles, improve invoice accuracy, and reduce leakage across older plan types. The rollout happened on Friday night. Now it's Monday morning, and the numbers look bad. Billing complaints are up 41%. Customer care call volume is up 29%. Same-day recharge value is down 8.6%. Social posts using words like fraud, double charge, and stolen airtime have tripled.
The CEO wants a recommendation before 9 a.m. The board finance committee meets at noon, and if the issue is not stabilized quickly, the regulator may ask questions before the day is over. So the war room has formed. Technology is defensive. Commercial is tense. Customer experience is overwhelmed. Finance is worried about churn. And the loudest theory in the room is this: the billing upgrade broke charging logic. Now, stay with me here. That sounds plausible. It sounds neat. It sounds executive-ready. And it may be wrong.
Introduce the characters. Let me make the room real for you. Amaka is the head of customer experience. She owns the complaint spike in everyone's eyes, whether or not her team caused it. Tunde is the director of billing platforms. He led the upgrade. If the room decides this is a platform failure, he wears that. Femi leads consumer bundles. He signed off on recent promo plan changes and does not want a commercial decision dragged into a technical incident. Nadia is the CEO's chief of staff. She is not the subject expert, but she is driving the meeting because she needs a recommendation the CEO can trust. Now, notice the pressure structure. Each person in the room has information. Each person also has exposure. That matters because once pressure enters the room, people do not just defend ideas. They defend identity, budget, timing, and credibility. So when the room says the system broke, you have to ask, is that analysis, or is that the fastest story everyone can survive? Frame the core tension. Here is the trap in this case. The complaint spike happened after the billing upgrade. And under pressure, the mind loves that sequence. Event, reaction, cause. Upgrade happened, complaints rose, therefore the upgrade caused the crisis.
An angry screenshot becomes proof. A frustrated customer care summary becomes proof. A handful of anecdotes start standing in for diagnosis. And before long, the team is no longer investigating. It is confirming. Give the learner the case task. So, here is your job in this case. You are advising Nadia, the CEO's chief of staff. You have about 20 minutes. You do not need perfect certainty. You do need a strong frame. I want you to answer 4 questions. First, what is the actual problem statement? Second, what should the executive team do in the next 2 hours? Third, what should they avoid doing too early? Fourth, what evidence would confirm or weaken your current hypothesis? Before we go further, stop and write. Do not keep this in your head. Write 1 sentence for the visible symptom. Write one sentence for the likely actual problem. Then list your first 3 diagnostic checks. Then write the recommendation you would give Nadia in no more than 40 words. Begin the debrief.
Now let's walk through it. What did the weaker thinker do first? The weaker thinker noticed timing. That is it. The upgrade happened. The complaints followed. So the upgrade became the explanation. That move feels smart because it is fast, tidy, and defensible in a noisy room. But it is weak thinking. Why? Because it mistakes sequence for cause. Because it treats all complaints as one problem. Because it rushes from visibility to certainty. And because it locks the room into action before the issue has been segmented. A spike is not a diagnosis. That line matters. A spike is not a diagnosis. Reveal the hidden cause. Here is what the stronger thinker finds. The billing upgrade did create noise, but the deeper driver of the anger was not mainly a charging defect. It was a communication failure around an expired promotional plan. 3 days before the migration, a high-use weekend data promo quietly expired for a large prepaid segment. An SMS notice was sent, but delivery was incomplete. Retail agents in several regions were not properly briefed. Many customers recharged expecting the old bonus logic to continue. Then, the billing migration cleaned out legacy plan codes and enforced the current rules cleanly. So, what customers experienced was this. They paid expecting one outcome. The system delivered another. And from their point of view, that felt like theft. Now, notice what just happened. The system may have billed correctly for many of these users, but the business still created a crisis. That distinction is where stronger thinking begins. State the diagnostic question. The diagnostic question that changes this case is simple. Are customers being charged incorrectly, or are they being charged correctly against an expectation we failed to reset? Let that land, because that one question separates 2 very different problems, a technical defect or an expectation failure. And if you confuse those, your response will be expensive, visible, and wrong. Teach the thinking move. This is where strong professionals stop reacting and start thinking. They do not ask, what is the loudest explanation? They ask, what kind of problem is this actually? Is this a system defect, a policy change, a communication gap, a channel execution failure, or a mixture of several things that only look like one issue from a distance? That is a very different quality of thinking, and it changes behavior immediately. Because instead of jumping to rollback, the stronger thinker starts segmenting by plan type, by region, by recharge channel, by device cohort, by complaint language, by confirmed mischarge versus missing expected bonus. That move feels slower, but in reality it is faster to the truth. Walk through the stronger response. So what should Nadia recommend? Not a full rollback, not yet. The stronger recommendation is this. Treat the incident as a mixed cause crisis until proven otherwise. Stand up a 2-track response for the next 2 hours. Track 1, isolate confirmed technical mischarges by customer cohort. Track 2, identify customers affected by the expired promo communication gap and prepare targeted remediation and clear public messaging. That is a strong recommendation for 4 reasons. First, it acknowledges urgency without pretending certainty. Second, it keeps the company from making an expensive technical move against the wrong problem. Third, it protects credibility because it is evidence-led, not ego-led. Fourth, it preserves optionality if a rollback later becomes necessary. That is what stronger thinkers do. They do not perform certainty, they buy clarity. Show what to do next. In the next 2 hours, the executive team should do the following. Pull complaint data by plan cohort.
Identify all users previously enrolled in the expired promo. Compare billed outcomes against current tariff rules for top complaint cases. Check SMS delivery success. Confirm what retail and customer care teams were actually told. Separate confirmed billing defects from expectation failure cases. Prepare message tracks for each group. Now, notice the discipline there. Not one emotional answer, not one blanket gesture, not one dramatic "we've fixed it" claim, just clean diagnosis. Show what to avoid. Now, here is where people usually get trapped. They want to do something that looks decisive, so they rush to one of 4 weak moves. They authorize a full rollback too early. They compensate everybody before they understand the segments. They let the platform team define the whole problem. Or they announce that the issue is resolved when the facts are still mixed. Each of those moves feels executive, but each one confuses movement with judgment. And that is the lesson. Urgency is real, but urgency does not get to do your framing for you. Translate the lesson beyond telco. Do not leave this case trapped inside telecoms. This happens everywhere. A bank redesigns onboarding and blames UX when activation is really being blocked by branch incentives. A fintech sees a complaint spike after a release and assumes code failure when the deeper issue is policy communication. A leadership team reacts to noisy evidence because the evidence is visible, not because it is representative. In all of these situations, the visible event hijacks the explanation, and the stronger thinker steps in with a better question. Not what happened right before the noise, but what exactly are we bundling together that should be separated before we decide? That is the upgrade. What strong thinkers sound like. Here is what strong thinking sounds like in the room. I do not yet think we have one problem here. The timing makes the upgrade a suspect, not yet the verdict. Before we roll back, I want to separate confirmed mischarges from broken customer expectations. We need to know whether this is a defect, a plan change issue, or a communication failure wearing the mask of billing error. Let's not confuse the loudest explanation with the strongest one. That language does something powerful. It slows false certainty without slowing the business. That is leadership language.